Okay, well, great to be here and welcome to Dakshana. Are you having a good time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you ask your question, please tell me your name, where you're from, and then your question. Is that okay?
Yes.
So, first question? Yeah.
I'm Vinod Ajmera from JNV Warangal. I'm afraid my question is not utilitarianistic. There are students who enjoy Socrates and Shakespeare equally well as rocket science. Do they deserve Dakshana scholarship? If they do, isn't it like a concentration camp for them because you make them eat a lot of chocolate cakes here while they are acclimatized eating all other flavors? Thank you.
Well, so first of all, so Dakshana does not, the program is not for students in commerce or students of literature. We've started medical now, so we do medical, but it was originally limited to just engineering. And the reason for that is that the probabilities of, so the objective of Dakshana is alleviation of poverty, right? Significant improvement in terms of the well-being, financial well-being of your families. That's the primary objective. And if you go to IIT, the statistical odds are very high that the students who enter IIT, almost all of them graduate, and almost all of them get good jobs, or they get jobs that pay well. So that process works. So as long as we are able to make sure that a large number of the kids get to IIT or get to NIT, then from there on, it almost becomes on autopilot, right? So that is the variable we are optimizing on. You probably have learned this in math and physics, but we cannot optimize on multiple variables, right? So if you're focused on optimizing two variables, you will not get to either one. So for example, if we were to take students in the arts or students who are interested in Shakespeare or Greek philosophy and so on, and we train them really well, we just don't know what the path is from there, right? In the sense that we don't know which schools or colleges they go to and then what happens after that. So the engineering path is more definitive, the medical path is more definitive, commerce, arts, literature is less definitive. So also I would say that the IITs they have a great reputation, but in my opinion, they are not great institutes. And the reason they're not great institutes is that, so they have a great reputation because there's very good talent that goes in. The quality of the faculty at the IITs is just mediocre. In fact, depends. I think Mumbai might have pretty good faculty, but especially if you get to the newer IITs and such, the faculty is questionable in terms of, and the IITs historically have not been research institutes. So they don't have strong master's, PhD programs. Those are changing now, but historically those have not been there. So, and also they've, even though they adopted many aspects of the US system, the grade point average system, and the way classes are taught and how professors grade your students and all that, a lot of that was picked up from various American universities. It's not naturally a well-balanced, rounded education. Now, if we try to focus on those areas, which is I want the education to be well balanced. I want it to be rounded. I want liberal arts in the curriculum. I want all these things. I'm going to lose on the poverty alleviation. So at Dakshana, we have a choice to make, right? So either we can focus on poverty alleviation, or we can focus on great education. We made a choice that we're going to focus on poverty alleviation. Now, you also have some choices. So I think the first choice Dakshana gives is that when you are invited to join the program, it's a demanding program. It's a path that is good for some people, may not be good for others. It fits for some people, doesn't fit for other people. So it's a voluntary program. You can decide whether you want to join or not. And any point during the program, if you think this is not for me, we will counsel you, but we've had several people leave the program as well. And that is also fine. So you can have a great life without going to IIT, and you can also have a great life by going to IIT. Both are possible. So another thing that you should keep in mind is the IITs have a lot of clubs, and they have a lot of different kind of social activities. So for example, if you were interested in literature, or interested in drama, or interested in debate, public speaking, whatever, there are different clubs for that. And that's a really good way to exercise your interest in those areas. And I'm an engineer. My degree is in computer engineering. I don't work as an engineer. I have not worked as an engineer for 25 years. And probably, I enjoyed math. That's the main reason I went into engineering, is I like math. And I liked logic and so on. I think the important thing to get out of the Dakshana program, get out of IITs, is to learn to learn. If you learn to learn, then you can be a lifelong student and you can switch your field. So for example, I'm an investment advisor, in the sense I focus on investments. I never went to school for it. I did not take classes in it. No professors taught me. I just picked up books and taught myself. And I can pick up books and teach myself almost anything I want to learn. So I don't need a degree, right, to do what I do. I just need the knowledge. And at least now with the internet and all that, knowledge is free. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think that if you have other interests, you can pursue them. Probably not optimally in the IITs, but you will probably find other people who are like you as well. And so that may work, but we'll have to see. Each person is different. Next question.
I am Ankit Kumar from JNV Kaushambi. Sir, I would like to set up a company like Google. How can I start?
Okay, so the founders of Google, right, did not start off saying, I want to create Google. They just had an idea, and they wanted to see how they can, make that idea work. And in fact, it took Google a few years to even figure out how to make money from the idea. So Larry Page came up with the PageRank system, which was a way to rank how many pages were pointing to a particular web page, and then based on that they ran their search algorithms, and they became better at search than anyone else. But it was really more of an academic pursuit for them. They didn't know at the time when they did all this how they'll make money out of this, how much money they can make. whether it can work or not. A lot of things were unanswered. So when you are thinking of starting a business, there are a few things that you can do which can help you on your path. Okay, so first is that is basically there's a book, and what I would suggest to you is that you read this book after you are finished 3 years at IIT. Don't read the book now because you have to first go to IIT. So the book is called The Origin and Evolution of New Businesses. It's written by a guy named Amar Bhide, who is now a friend of mine. And Amar actually went to IIT Bombay. Good guy. Now he's a professor. I think he used to be a professor at Harvard. Now he's a professor at Tufts. What he did when he wrote this book was he interviewed hundreds of people who had created very successful companies. And then he took all those conversations and he came up with a framework of how you should think about starting a company. Okay, so he kind of systematized it. So the book has a lot of examples of different businesses that got created by different people and kind of how that whole process went about. So it's a really good book to read. You can find it on Amazon India, and it won't cost much. And I think, like I said, after you finish your second or third year, you'll have some money from the internships. You can buy the book. The second thing is that if I go through my own journey, just one thing you got to understand is that you only need to be right once. You can be wrong many times. You only need to be right once. So, for example, when I was 22, I finished college. When I was 23, I was working as an engineer, but with two other people, I started a company on the side, like kind of a weekend activity. That company was called Perry Technologies. Okay, so this company, we all had jobs. We used to meet on evenings and weekends, and we were building software tools. And this company failed. And the total amount I would have put into this company while we were trying to make it work would probably be less than $500. You know, sort of less than 30, let's say less than 30,000 rupees. So the failure did not mean anything financially. You know, it was a very small amount. It was less, I mean, it was like, 4-day salary or something, didn't matter. But I learned a few things from that process, right? And then when I was 24, I started another company called TransTech, and this one worked. And again, when I started TransTech, I still had a job, and I did both. I did TransTech and my job for 10 months. So it took 10 months for this company to have enough revenue and profit because I didn't have any money with me at that time. So when I was 24 and I started TransTech, I had $30,000 in savings, right? So let's say about 20 lakhs. And this 30,000 I had saved kind of over 3 years that I had been working. And I put the 30,000 into this company. And I knew that it can fail. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, फेल होए कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, नौकरी है ना, तो नौकरी करते रहेंगे, फिर कोई दूसरी कंपनी शुरू कर देंगे अगले साल, वो भी फेल हो गई तो उसके बाद एक और कंपनी शुरू कर देंगे, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना. यू कैन डू अनलिमिटेड ट्राइज इन इफेक्ट. बट second try itself worked, so all the fun of starting more businesses kind of went away. So this company did very well. I think it eventually ended up giving me more than probably $10 million in net worth. So this would be like around, let's say, 70 crores. Okay. And then, so that was the journey till I was 24. At 25, I quit my job. And when I was 30 years old, I heard about Warren Buffett for the first time. So I started Transtech at 24, and I was still running this company. It was a IT services company. And then when I was 30, I heard about Warren Buffett and investing and all of that. And I started doing this part-time. You know, teaching myself, learning, because I was very interested in this area. And when I was 35, I started another company called Digital Disruptors. And this company took a lot of capital. This was a startup that took a lot of money. So this company took, it cost $5 million. So about 35 crores. And this company failed. All the money disappeared. And the 5 million, 2 million was from me, and 3 million was from other investors. Everything was gone, all the 5 million. But the thing is that when this happened, through this engine and this engine, I had already made over 10 million. You know, 70 crores. So it didn't matter. I mean, it does matter, because if I, you know, this was in 1999, and you know, I have an investment fund. So in 1999, whatever money I had from then till 2019, it has increased 12x. So this 2 million is actually would have been 24 million. But that's okay, no problem. So what I learned at that point was that the startup that cost no money made a lot of money. The startup that costs a lot of money made no money. Okay, so one of the rules that you'll learn in that Amar Bhidhe's book is you don't need money to start a business. You just need brains. And actually, money is a problem when you start a business, because you'll make mistakes and you'll amplify your mistakes. So, so this failed. But then in the meanwhile, In 1999, I also started another business called Pabrai Funds, because by now I was ready with Buffett. I had learned everything. And Pabrai Funds cost nothing to start, because I already had a company. I was just making investments and so on. And so cost was close to zero. And it has already made over 200 million. So 1400 crores. So again, it worked. So well done, Mohnish. And then in 2007, we started Dakshana, because I had to give away the money, because basically there's nothing else you can do with the money. There are only two things you can do with the money. You can either, three things actually. You can spend it, you can give it to your kids, or you can give it to society. Spending, I already have. I mean, I'm happy with the way I live. I don't need to do anything more. Giving to your kids is a problem, because then they're not going to have fun in life. The fun in life is creating your path. And so we have to give it away. So that's why Dakshana was created in 2007. And Dakshana worked. You know, as you can see, since you decided to join Dakshana, you have some confidence that Dakshana will work for you, right? So Dakshana worked, and let's call this Dakshana 1.0. Then I think in 2012, I started something called Gandhigiri. Have you seen the movie लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई? Yes, sir. तो वहीं से हमने नाम लिया गांधीगिरी. And this was supposed to fight corruption. And this one failed. And the total money we lost was probably less than $5,000. So this is about 3.5 lakhs. So it did not matter. And then in 2019, we started Dakshana 2.0. You know, where we are trying to play with a model where we are trying to teach kids math without a math teacher. So this has just started. Lots of problems, लेकिन फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. What I'm trying to say is that what would be our annual cost per year for 2.0? Like maybe 15 lakhs per location, 10 lakhs a location. So like 30 lakhs. Yeah, so this will cost us about, let's say, 40 lakhs. Yeah, so let's say 40 lakhs per year. And we are watching. अगर गाड़ी पटरी पे नहीं आएगी तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, बंद कर देंगे, राइट? कितनी चीज़ें पहले भी बंद करी है ना. एंड अगर पटरी पे आ गई तो चलने देंगे. सो बेसिकली द बॉटम लाइन इज दैट, सो नाउ आई एम 55 years old. Do you think I'm done with my adventures with business and such? Do you think I'm done? No.
So many adventures that you can do now.
Exactly. So many adventures. Exactly. Life has just started. So, one of my heroes is Ben Franklin. Have you heard of Ben Franklin? How many of you have heard of Ben Franklin? Raise your hand. The person not interested in science has heard of Ben Franklin. And a couple more people. You heard of Ben Franklin? Yes? So, who was Ben Franklin?
Ben Franklin was a scientist, sir. So when he was flying his kite, he used to observe that the electrons from electrons are passing. He got some shock that there is a passage of electrons
Yeah.
through.
So, he did kite experiments. And he realized that lightning has some electricity-like properties, right? At that time, there was no electricity. Anything else? But, ek minute, hold on. Anything else?
He discovered new theory in the science.
New theory, right, sure, okay. And anything else?
I think that you are talking about Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I'm talking about Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I heard about Benjamin Franklin. He was a very genius scientist. Made so many discoveries. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else know Ben Franklin? So, Ben Franklin actually was not a scientist. He made many scientific discoveries, but he was not a scientist. He was also not well educated. He was a printer. So, he did an apprenticeship with another printer. He learned how to do printing, and then he set up a printing shop. And but he had a lot of curiosities in life. So, in fact, he is the guy who figured out. So he did a lot of experiments with electricity with his kite, but he figured out the lightning rod, which we use in buildings today, right? So people used to get electrocuted with lightning. He came up with the concept of putting a lightning rod in the building which captures the lightning so people will not get hurt. And he actually came up with the concept of a positive and a negative charge. So he didn't have any scientific training. He just said, okay, these are these different charges, positive and negative. And till today we use those terms. And he also came up with the concept of a battery. Even that is a term we use today. But he didn't stop there. He had many inventions in many different areas. So for example, he invented bifocal lenses. You know, lenses where you can see near and far. He invented those. He was very early to understand that probably vaccinations for smallpox would work. So just a number of different discoveries. But the thing is, his profession was a printer. Then at the age of 40, he gave his print shop to his apprentice who was working in the shop, said, the shop is now yours. You run the shop. The business has been given to you. For next 20 years, you pay me a certain amount every year, and then you own the business. So he finished running the business when he was 40. He was one of, the thing that he's most known for is he was one of America's founding fathers. So he worked on the Declaration of Independence in 1776. He worked on the US Constitution, 1790. That Constitution is still going strong after more than 230 years. And he actually was responsible for, so the United States was a British colony, and the British did not want to give America its independence because they liked, just like India was a colony of the British, America was a colony. He was sent to France. He did a lot of diplomacy with the French. He got them to support America against the British and helped America win independence. So anyway, what I'm saying is Ben Franklin did many, many things. And one of his quotes is that, he has many great quotes. Actually, when you go to IIT, you can Google Ben Franklin, you'll get a lot of quotes by him. So one of his quotes is, many people die at 25 and are not buried till they are 75. What does that mean? What does that quote mean? वो कह रहे हैं कि आदमी 25 की उम्र में मर गया है और जनाजा 75 की उम्र में निकल रहा है. So what does he mean by that? What he means by that is most humans stop living and stop doing anything interesting by the time they're 25 years old. In fact, I see it with IIT grads all the time. So a lot of kids who go to IIT, इतना रगड़ा होता है IIT पहुंचने तक कि उसके बाद बस बोलते हैं अभी हमको रिलैक्स करना है. So in their case, they have decided to die at 18. They turn the engine off. Then some of them will keep going till 22 to graduate, then get the job, and then turn the engine off. So then in their case, they are dead at 22. And in some cases, they might go for a few years and then turn the engine off. So Ben Franklin never turned the engine off, right? And so that's the important thing you have to keep in mind is that, I mean, I think Dhirubhai Ambani was over 50 when he started Reliance. He was like 52, 53 years old. Or even if you look at R.K. Damani, you know, DMart. I think DMart, he started maybe 15 years ago. And so he would have been over 50 when he started DMart as well. And so these are people who did not die at 25. So basically, that book will give you a lot of fundas on how to start a business. Don't put money into starting a business. That's the one thing I learned, is the businesses that take no money make a lot of money. The businesses that take a lot of money in the beginning have difficulty later. Microsoft took no money to start, Oracle no money to start, Google no money to start, and so on. So, next question.
I am Mohnish from JNV Nizamabad. Sir, how did you get the idea to establish Dakshana?
So Dakshana, I already told you basically that beyond a certain point, you cannot spend the money. I mean, you can spend the money, but it will not make you happier. You know, so Buddha said that the key to happiness is the elimination of desire. Right? Yes. मोह माया इकट्ठा कर कर कोई happiness नहीं मिलने वाला है. Right? And of course, I still focus on collecting more moh maya anyway. What the hell? Still fun. Okay? So since money is not the driver to increase happiness, up to a certain point, I think it can help. After a certain point, it doesn't help. So then I said, then you're only left with two choices. You can either give it to people who are related to you, or you can give it to society. Those are the only two choices, because we don't live forever. The best thing about life is death. So all these people who have all these assets, in the end they all die, and those assets kind of get recycled in society. So one of the things I learned about from Buffett, which is what I was so excited about, is that when I need to explain Buffett before I can explain the Dakshana question. So, how many of you have heard of Warren Buffett?
Sir is a very successful investor.
Okay, very good.
One of the most richest person in the world. One of the richest rich person in the world.
Okay, and where are you from?
Sir, I am from JNV Giridi. My name is Anand Keshav.
Okay, very good. Welcome. So Warren Buffett is an investor. So when he was about 10 years old, so Buffett has only cracked 2 fundas in his life. And the 2 fundas he cracked made him one of the richest people in the world. बस सिर्फ 2 फंडे क्रैक किए हैं पूरी ज़िंदगी में. एक फंडा he cracked is the magic of compounding. So you have heard the story of the guy who invented the game of chess, and he teaches the ruler of the kingdom how to play chess, and the king is very happy. He loves chess. He becomes an addicted chess player, and he tells this guy, ask for any reward. So he says, on a chessboard, just put 1 grain of rice in the first square, and 2 grains of rice in the second square, and 4 grains of rice in the third square, and keep doubling the grains of rice, even if it is Kerala rice, until the 64th square. Have you heard that story? Yes, sir. Okay, good. So, how many grains of rice are on the chessboard? Anyone have the answer? 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. So it's 2 to the power of 0 plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 63, and this is 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, very good. यही फंडा क्रैक किया वॉरेन ने when he was 10 years old. And so what Warren said was that, let's say that I have 10,000 rupees, okay? And let's say I am 22 years old. Or let's make it exactly like Warren. Let's say I'm 20 years old. Okay? And let's say I am increasing this at 26% a year. Okay, that's a high rate, but let's say it's increasing at compounded at 26% a year. So 1.26 cube is 2. Okay, so 1.26 times 1.26 times 1.26, आप कर लेना बाद में जाकर, approximately 2 है. Okay, मतलब अगर if I get 26% a year, the money doubles in 3 years, right? So at 20, I have 10,000. At 23, how much do I have? 20. And at 26, okay, and then let's say at 50, how much do I have?
So I'm Sonu Kumar and from JNV Sivan.
Okay.
Answer for this, 2 to the power 12 into 40,000.
I'm sorry, 2 to the power of 12
Into 40,000.
into 40,000.
Yes.
Anyone else?
1 crore 2 lakhs 30,000.
102. Is that correct? I know, I put my commas like the Americans put them. No, so 2,30,000. So it's, so 230, ये तो 2,30,000 हो गया. Is that correct? 1 crore 2,30,000. Is that correct? Well, let me do the math. I don't know what the answer is. But basically, we have 10 doubles. 30 years है ना? 20 and 50. बैठ जाइए please. So we have 10 doubles times 10,000. What's 2 to the power of 10? 1024. Yeah. So ये 24 को भूल जाओ. we just add 3 zeros, right? So 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. And that's correct, right? That's 1 crore? Approximately 1 crore? Yeah. So 10,000 becomes 1 crore in 30 years, right? So, so what Warren Buffett did, when I heard about him, so first thing he cracked was he understood at the age of 10 that now let's say, for example, we did at 50, right? What if we go to the age of 80? Another 30 years.
Just add 30 in last.
Zabardast, very good. So 1 crore, if I add 3 zeros, what does it become? 1,000 crores. So 10,000 rupees becomes 1,000 crores, right? In 60 years. Yep. So Warren Buffett understood at the age of 10, and in fact Einstein said compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. So Einstein understood this too. So he understood that if you compound at high rates, you get astronomical sums later. And he used to do a lot of different jobs when he was a teenager. He was delivering newspapers, and he was going to golf courses, finding golf balls, reselling them, a lot of different things. And when he was 20 years old, he had $10,000. So, and when I heard about him, so Buffett basically was born in 1930. Next year will be his 90th birthday. And when people ask him, Mr. Buffett, if a genie came to you and you could get any wish you want, what is the wish you want? So he says, the wish I want is that when I finally die and people look at my body, they should say, this is the oldest looking body we have ever seen. He wants to live for a long time. Why does he want to live for a long time? हर 3 साल डबल हो रहा है ना, तो क्यों मर के बंद करना है? Already 70 साल तक compound कर रहे हैं, right? So 1930 he is born. 1950 he has $10,000. We'll convert this into rupees later. It's 7 lakhs, right? Now, when I heard about him, 1994, 45 years had gone by. And he was compounding in this period at about 30% a year. Okay? So at the age of 10, he figured out that compounding is magical. At the age of 20, he figured out how to compound at high rates. That's the second funda he cracked. So first funda, understand compounding, which he understood at 10 years old. Second funda at 20, which he understood is high rate kaise compound karna hai. And if you are doing 30% a year, the money doubles every 2.5 years. It's ahead of 26. So, which means in 45 years, there's 18 doubles, right? Every 10 years, you're getting 4 doubles. 4 10-year period, 16 doubles, plus another 5-year period, 18 doubles. 2 to the power of 18. ये कितना हो गया? So this is 2 to the power 10 times 2 to the power 8. 10 is 1000, 8 is 500. We don't want exact math. Exact math थोड़ा headache देता है. तो मोटा हिसाब लगा लो. Not in the IIT exam, only over here. Okay? So what is so it's 500,000, right? Times 10,000. So is that correct? I add 4 zeros, right? I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I added 1 extra 0. 5, no, 5 and 4, 9, right? 5 and 4, 9. So I have 1 extra 0, right? So this is $5 billion. This is 35,000 crores. Okay? Now, this is assuming that after age of 20, he never worked and he never made any money any other way. Right? ये तो 20 साल का saving था ना. When he was 20, he had $10,000 saving. If he goes to work someplace and he saves another 10,000, then what happens? One more 5 billion. And another 10,000 he saved after 2 years. Another, you know what I'm saying? So when you do this, what happens? You become the wealthiest person in the world. So what happened to him? He became the wealthiest person in the world. So जब मैंने 1994 में बफेट के बारे में सुना, I was 30 years old. Okay? And I said to myself, when I understood all the fundas, right? I said, इतना मैथ सीखा स्कूल में और कॉलेज में, किसी ने मेरे को ये 2 फंडे नहीं सिखाए. All useless math teachers. What is the purpose of math if you're not going to teach me how to make money from it? Just kidding, okay? Okay? But you know what I'm saying? Math is money, right? मतलब what the math teacher should do is अगर किसी को attention नहीं दे रहा है क्लास में, जरा ये lesson दे दो. थोड़ा कुछ लोगों को तो interest हो जाएगा. So anyway, when I heard about him in 1994, I said, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बिगड़ा है, right? Because in 1994, when I heard about him, I had $1 million with me. Because I already started my business, already made some money. So I said, he at age of 20 had $10,000. Me at age of 30, I have $1 million. So I said, लगा देते हैं compounding engine पे, देखते हैं क्या होता है, right? So I'm still running my business, I'm still doing all this thing, but I said I'm going to take this and start investing and going to see what happens, right? And so it worked because math works, right? And now Warren has the same problem, which is he has so much money. What is he going to do with it? What is he doing with his money? He is giving all the money to Gates Foundation. Bill Gates is his friend. He is giving it to Gates, and again Gates is spending it on vaccines and different things, fight malaria and different things around the world. So basically, you asked about Dakshana, right? Dakshana क्यों शुरू हुआ? दक्षिणा इसलिए शुरू हुआ कि कोई choice नहीं था. I did not have any choice in the matter because it was the only option left. Spending more money would not make me happy. Giving it to my children would not improve their life. So the third plan, spend it on you guys, right? So I had a cousin, and I think this was in 93, 94, same time I was hearing about Buffett. And my cousin had finished BCom in Mumbai, and he had no job. You know, I told you that we don't support commerce students. You know why we don't support commerce students? Because they finish BCom, they get no job. Okay? Because those are not areas where it's easy to get jobs. So my parents told me, ये आपका cousin है, मैं US में था, वो मुंबई में है. Can you do something for him? And I had this IT services company. So I said, let's see, let's try. So I knew this very small company in Delhi. They were like 4 people. It was called Magic Software. They were friends of mine. They used to develop Visual Basic software, doing consulting projects and all that. And उनका बहुत स्थिति, their business condition was not good because they were just starting out. They were having difficulty getting clients, this, that. So they were struggling, but they were very smart guys. So I told them, I said, listen, मेरा cousin है. I would be very obliged if you can employ him at 0 salary. So they said, let us think about it. So they came back to me after one day. I said, if you send your cousin with 1 desk, 1 chair, and 1 computer, then we can hire him. So I said, no problem. उसको कुर्सी, टेबल, कंप्यूटर के साथ भेज देते हैं. So I told my cousin to move to Delhi. My parents were in Delhi. He stayed with them. I said, तुम इनके साथ काम करना शुरू कर दो. And Magic Software, basically these guys were very smart. They were working around the clock. They were doing good job, but they just didn't have many clients and all that, and they didn't have money to buy computers. So they said there's one more rule, that when he is not working on the computer, we can use the computer. I said, feel free, enjoy. So 1 year he worked for them, right? No pay. And at the same time, I got him enrolled in NIT course, like, you know, software ka NIT course, information technology. So after 1 year, I think maybe 18 months, he moved back to Mumbai, and he had 20 job offers. So 0 se hero ban gaye, right? So what was the difference? He was the same guy, right? But now he had skills that people wanted. And so when I looked at what happened with him, the cost for me was very insignificant. Main cost was the computer. At that time, computers were a little expensive. In 94, I think we must have spent like $3,000-4,000 on the computer. But kursi table to kuch bhi nahi hai na, right? So that doesn't mean anything. So it did not cost much, but it transformed his career, right? And now he is settled in the UK, doing very well, makes a lot of money, doing great in life, right? So I understood that basically if you, and I had my own example, that if you become an engineer, you can get a job, you can get a decent job, you can make decent money and all that. So I said that, that with my cousin, what I did was, you know, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. We taught him fishing. We didn't give him any handout. We didn't say, okay, we will just feed you for our whole life, just come and sit at home. I didn't say that to him. I made him productive, right? And so then when I was looking at a way to give the money away, I heard about Super 30. And I saw that, so the reason why Dakshana works and why I was so interested in Dakshana is, we have a system here. We have the JNV system. And we have another system here, the IIT system, right? Both are government-run systems. And in both systems, the government spends a lot of money. I think JNV is how much they spend per year? 5-6 crores, maybe more, including the staff? Per JNV. So there are 600 JNVs times, let's say, 5 crores. So how many IITs are there now? 23. I blinked and they've gone to 23. I should not blink, So the 23 IITs, I would say probably, a few thousand crores per year per IIT. I think, yeah, that may be a few thousand crores. And so what I'm saying is that either though at least, I would say at least, let's say 23,000 crores. Maybe let's say 10,000 to 23,000 crores a year the government is spending on the IITs. Okay? So for what I realized when I looked at Super 30 was that if we create a bridge between these two, the bridge doesn't cost much. These two systems cost a lot. So for example, every year the JNVs are testing 25 lakhs, maybe more now, 30 lakhs. They are testing about 25 lakh students a year. In 5th grade, right? And from this they take about 40,000 students, right? The JNV-ST, जो आप सब ने लिया था एक ज़माने में. Congratulations. So anyway, this testing of 25 lakh students down to 40,000 is a very complex exercise. If we were to try to do it ourselves, let's say there's no JNV system, okay? If Dakshana has to test 25 lakh kids a year, we'll just pack up, okay? Not possible, for NGO like us to do that. So government does that. Then जब 10th standard में 40,000 आ जाते हैं, हम इसमें से 3,000 to 5,000 kids we are testing out of these. This year we did 8,000, too many. We need to bring it down. But, we tested 8,000 here, right? And from these 8,000, we are picking maybe 700 or something. No, but also so this is 500. And what about the Dakshana Valley? How many are we testing for Dakshana Valley?
This year, 13,000.
No, from JNV.
From JNV, about 6,000.
So 6,000 and then we get another 500. Maybe, so about 1,000 kids a year, right? So the 40,000 gives us about 1,000, right? So the 1,000 actually is coming from the 25 lakhs, right? It's coming down to this number. And so this is magic, right? Because we are given on a platter. Every year, NVS sends us a list of all the grades, all the kids. We look at how many we want. Then we test them in the different JNVs, like you all went through the Dakshana selection test. Then we look at the results and we bring people in, and here you are. So, if we take these 1,000 students it costs us about, let's say, 1.5 to 2 lakhs per student to prepare you for the test, right? So let's say 2 lakhs times 1,000. So 20, so it's 20 crores. Okay, so the bridge costs 20 crores. So one side costs 3,000 crores, the other side costing 10-20,000 crores. हमारा बीच में ब्रिज तो सिर्फ 20 करोड़ है. मैजिक. वो कहते हैं ना, हिंग लगे ना फटकरी, रंग चौखा. Maybe you haven't heard that in Bihar, I don't know. It's more of a Punjab thing, but that's okay. They may not have heard it in Bihar. So when I saw this math and I said that every rupee Dakshana spends, the JNVs are spending 150 times. For every rupee you spend, there's 150 times spent over here. And for every rupee we spend probably maybe like 500 times over here. So this is 500x, this is 150x. So it's a 650x multiplier. So हम 1 रुपया खर्च करते हैं, गवर्नमेंट 650 खर्च करती है. We are equal partners. It's great. So when I saw all this and I saw Anand Kumar doing Super 30 and all that, and I saw what happened to my cousin, I said, this is the path. And that's why we decided to ignore Shakespeare. Because if I taught my cousin Shakespeare, what would have happened to him? I know I like Shakespeare too, but कुछ नहीं होता Shakespeare के साथ. Now, after he becomes MCA and gets job, he can study all the Shakespeare he wants. No problem. So this is why we started Dakshana. So everything is about what I would call optimization engines. So there is, so I would just say that one thing in life is that I think we are almost out of time here, right? How long have you been recording? Maybe we'll go another few minutes. हम तो third question तक ही पहुंच पाए हैं. So the key in life is to create mental models. And like, let's say compounding is a model. The second model is that, compounding at high rates. Then the third is cloning or copying. So Dakshana is a model that we did not come up with. We copied it from Anand Kumar, right? इतनी तो ब्रेन पावर नहीं है मेरे में कि ऐसा मॉडल खुद क्रिएट कर सकूं. I cannot do that. It's way beyond my intellect. So copying and cloning, even Pabrai funds, which gave me the most success, is not my model. I copied it from Warren Buffett. So if I am successful, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants, right? So the thing about life is कि एग्ज़ाम में कॉपी करना अच्छी बात नहीं है, लाइफ में कॉपी करना बहुत अच्छी बात है. So it's an important mental model. Do not try to figure things out yourself. Look at what other people have already figured out. Like, even though Buffett already figured out compounding, I could still make money from it. Even though Anand Kumar figured out Super 30, we could still leverage that. Because I went to Anand Kumar in 2007. I did not want to start Dakshana. I did not want to go through all this this is too much management overhead. So I told him, हम आपको हर साल चेक भेजेंगे, आप ये 30 को 300 कर दो. Let's scale this. And his answer was that I don't want to change, and I don't want any money, and I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. So then I told him, okay, if we copy your model, do you have any problem? He said, no, ये तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है. तो हम टोपा मार रहे हैं, वो बोल रहे हैं कर लो. So we said, okay. We borrowed the topa, and it worked. So that was that. Next question.
I am Shivasaram from JNV Mahbubnagar. Sir, how would you feel if you were a student like me and getting less marks comparing with your classmates? And what would you do to achieve higher marks, avoiding those who can waste your time?
Are they wasting your time? Are there some time wasters around here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I won't ask you to point them out. It's okay. So one of the things, so first of all, I would just say that you are in a very difficult program. The stuff you have to study is very vast, and it is the toughest exam in the world. So if you feel, so what happens is until you arrive to do test prep here, all the tests you have taken in the past, you have done well. फिर यहाँ आ जाते हो, एक तो आपके सब गिने चुने सारे कंट्री के बेस्ट उस्ताद आए हुए हैं यहाँ पर. So when all of them are here together, and most of you are going to go to IIT, it becomes even hard. It's not an easy comparison. So I would say that you should keep it in mind that if you don't do well on a test, that's pretty normal because the tests are very hard. But you can do a few things which will help you out. So for humans, the biggest driver of our behavior is who our friends are. If your friends are better than you, you will become better. If your friends are worse than you will become worse. And you know who the good students are. तो आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है कि जो गुड स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके साथ फ्रेंडशिप रखो और उनके साथ टाइम स्पेंड करो. Automatically what will happen is that you will see what they are doing and you will do that yourself. There are some people in this room that probably may have already given up or not interested. We don't know, but maybe that's true. I think that those individuals you probably want to avoid spending time with because it's going to be self-destructive. So identify the people who are better than you and you'll become better. And if people are worse than you, then stay away. So I think we will end now, but I want to give you a problem to solve, which is a little harder than the problem we solved so far. So let's see if you can, when you solve it, just raise your hand and we'll take it from there. So n is a prime number greater than or equal to 5. Prove that n squared minus 1 is always divisible by 24. Done? Can you come on the board?
And square minus 1 can be written as
prime number, if we add or subtract any number, it will always be an event. It also be an event, but divisible by 1 of this will divisible by 3.
Yeah, so
22 raised to 3 into 3. Yes.
so ये तो divisible by 2 हो गया, ये भी divisible by 2 हो गया, and then one of these two is divisible by 3, but ये cube कहाँ से आया आपको? ये तो square हो गया ना? You are almost there. I'll help you out. One of these is divisible by 4 and one is divisible by 2 because they are adjacent, right? तो एक 2 squared है और एक 2 है और फिर 3 है. Congratulations. Can we get a picture? Our time for now has come to an end. We will gather again after the other class. So anyway, welcome to Dakshana, even though it has been a few months. Hope you're having a good time. Do you like Kerala? What about the Kerala rice? No? Which rice is better? White rice? Kerala rice तो special है. But that's okay. And are you going to move to Kerala after IIT? Do you like the place? Okay. All right, so let's see what we can do with your questions. First question, just tell me your name and where you're from, and then we'll take it from there.
Mohnish, I'm M.I. Janak from JNV Nalgonda, and my question is intelligence enough to succeed in life?
Okay, and Ajay, please have a seat. Intelligence is not enough to succeed in life. In fact, you can succeed in life without intelligence. So, intelligence is not going to get you to the promised land. So, if you want to succeed in life, then you have to basically have three attributes that you are strong in. So intelligence, integrity, and energy. So energy is just hard work. Integrity is honesty. So basically, if you are smart, willing to work very hard, and you conduct yourself with the highest standards of honesty and truth, then those are the attributes. But just intelligence will not get you there. Like I think the fact that you're in this class means you're pretty smart. The fact that you go to IIT is also that you're pretty smart. But to go really far in life, that is not enough. You need to be a continuous learning machine and be willing to learn and grow as you go along. So, next question.
So, my name is Akash Kumar from JNV Lucknow. Sir, my question is, we were told that failure are a step to success, but practically it is very difficult to tackle such failures and stay motivated for preparing for IIT. Sir, please tell us about your failures and how you have tackled them so that we all can get motivated.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you have not failed, then that means you have not tried many things. So we are all going to fail in life. It's a very natural thing. And actually, one of my heroes is a guy named Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor, and he had a very difficult life. He spent almost the entire life on the battlefield, and he had a lot of injuries, a lot of illness, a very difficult life. But through all of that, he persevered, and he created a philosophy which is called the Stoic philosophy. So Stoicism comes from Marcus Aurelius, and basically what Marcus Aurelius said was that we should be grateful when we encounter adversity and when we encounter failure. So, like when I was doing my my undergraduate degree, in computer engineering in the US, I was doing well. I had a very high grade point average, almost all A's. And I took a class in engineering mechanics. And somehow, the way the professor was teaching, I was having difficulty understanding what is going on in class. And when the test results came, I was pretty much going to fail the class. And I had not failed at anything in engineering till that point. And that would be a big blow to the grade point average and everything else. So I remember I went to speak to the professor because I was very stressed out. कि यहाँ क्या होने वाला है? And while I was speaking to him, I think I was 19 years old, I started crying in his office because I was so concerned that it matters so much. In hindsight, looking back, it didn't matter at all, right? US universities, they allow you, I think IITs may have similar system, I'm not sure, but they allow you to drop a class. So you can, like a semester goes for 4 months. So for example, if you decide, I don't want to continue this class anymore, they have something known as early withdrawal, and then they have something known as late withdrawal. So early withdrawal, let's say in the first 4 weeks. Late withdrawal is maybe in 8 weeks after the class starts. So if you withdraw in the first 4 weeks, the way the rules are, there's no record that you ever even took the class. It just is wiped out, right? If you withdraw after 8 weeks, within the 8-week window, then it will not have any effect on your grade point, but a W will show up on the transcript for that, with that class saying withdrawn, right? And after 8 weeks, you cannot withdraw, right? So I knew that these two benchmarks are there, and at 7 weeks, I said, "Idhar dal nahi galne wali hai." Okay? So I withdrew. It was the only class I withdrew, and I got a W on the transcript, which actually, looking back, is completely irrelevant, because even when I graduated, whatever, no employer, nobody cared that there was a W. No, I was never asked anything about it. So I was getting stressed out for no reason, right? So I withdrew from the class. Next semester, I took the class with the same professor because he's the only guy teaching that class. And I got an easy A. And part of the reason I got an easy A is what I did in that semester is I understood this is going to be difficult. I had already taken 7 weeks of his lectures once, and I had already spent a lot of time working on those. So next semester, I reduced my workload, and I made sure this one got a lot of attention, right? And it was a very easy class, actually. It worked just fine. And So I think that many times I have failed in my job, I have failed in businesses, I have failed many different times in many different things I have done. I told the previous class went through a number of different failures. I went through, when you see the video, you will see all the different failures I've been through. So I think the thing that you have to remember is that number one, the IIT entrance exam is the toughest exam on the planet, right? Getting into IIT is far more difficult than surviving in IIT, right? It just getting in is very hard. And you can get in to IIT with 40% marks, 35% marks, right? Because it's so hard. And so I don't think you should let it basically bother you that there are lots of problems you cannot solve. Almost no one can solve all those problems, right? There are very, very few humans who can actually get more than 90% or something on the JEE paper. Have you heard of a guy named Ashok Kumar? Yes, sir. Everyone knows Ashok Kumar more than they know me. He's so famous. Has he visited here? Ashok hasn't been here yet. Okay. So Ashok, I think he was from 2008 to 2010 with us. He was at JNV Bangalore. At that time, he had to go back to his home JNV for the CBSE board and all of that. So Ashok used a couple of kind of techniques, right? So, for example, many Dakshana scholars have told me that PT is a waste of time. Is PT waste of time? Honest answer do na. PT total waste of time. Okay, आपकी PT होती है? No exemption from PT. No assembly also. क्या जिंदगी है? ऐसी ज़बरदस्त ज़िंदगी है. तो जब अशोक JNV बैंगलोर में थे, कोई एग्जाम्शन नहीं था. ना तो PT से एग्जाम्शन था, ना तो असेंबली से एग्जाम्शन था. What he did was, he said that when he went for PT, he said, they are only asking me to do physical things. They are not asking me to do mental things. So he always had a problem that he could not solve, that he was working in his mind before he went for PT. And he spent the entire hour or whenever, how much time it was taking, thinking about that problem, thinking about different things going on while he's doing whatever they're asking him to do. If he's in the line for food, in lunch or dinner, same thing. He's thinking about some problem. So he always organized in terms of, because there's not enough time, right? These things, and so other students were complaining कि इसमें बहुत time waste हो रहा है. His perspective was, I'm going to find a way around this time waste so it doesn't waste my time, right? And then in the last 6 weeks before the JEE test, the coaching stopped because he has to go back to his home JNV in Hyderabad. So, you know, we gave you those books, like 30 years or 35 years of JEE papers. So he, when he went back, solved all the papers, right? Every paper he went through and took it like he's taking the test. And in many cases, he took it more than 2 times. And if he could not solve a problem, he spent time trying to understand that, right? So basically, he had taken the JEE like 50 times before he went to the test center. And then what was his rank? किसी को मेरा rank नहीं पता है, सबको अशोक का rank पता है. It's a good thing you don't know my rank. So anyway, so he got a good rank, right? And now he's at Google and he's climbing really fast. I mean, he's climbing through Google at a pretty good pace. And in fact, recently, Google का annual conference होता है, I/O, they have an annual conference where Sundar Pichai presents all the new products and all that. A portion of Sundar's presentation was done by Ashok. So he was very stressed out in that period because like he was supposed to come to Omaha, Nebraska. He said, I cannot travel. I have to finish this project and this job. So he was stressed out. But what I'm saying is that Google is giving him a lot of responsibility, pretty young, because he is pushing hard. So I think the key is that failure is a blessing. And when you don't know something, it's a great opportunity to learn. The other thing is that you have to basically apply kind of smarts. So different portions of the JEE paper, some parts are easier than others. Like chemistry, you can score, right? So you have to take advantage of those tricks to see how you can maximize your rank and success and so on. But the key is that I think that you have to have a curiosity. You have lots of smart peers over here. अगर कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है किसी और को पूछ सकते हो, faculty को पूछ सकते हो. So I think in this case here it's a difficult situation, but you can try to make it work, and it can work. So that's fine. Next question.
My name is Saurav. I'm from JNV, Nevada, Bihar. I'm thinking I'm working hard but not getting good marks, which can compensate my work. Due to this, negative thoughts come in mind and I feel hopeless. So how do I protect myself from these thoughts?
Yeah, so please have a seat. Yeah, so I think that like we just discussed, I think that your situation is pretty normal. You are not the only, who else feels like him in the class? We have, आपके काफ़ी साथी हैं जो आपकी तरह similarly depressed हो जाते हैं कभी कभी. The curriculum is very hard. It's very hard to, because what happened is until you got to this classroom, almost any test you took, CBSE, whatever, is very easy, right? So this thing steps it up, is a significant quantum leap over the normal 11, 12 CBSE curriculum, right? There's a significant jump. And you have the best of India sitting in the class. So you have some really smart people here. And I think the key is that humans are driven by peers. So the important thing to do is to hang out with people who are better than you. So अगर आपको मैथ में डिफ़िकल्टी आ रही है, देखो मैथ में कौन अच्छा है, उनके फ्रेंड बनो. And you have to break the problem down and you have to work as hard as you can to try to solve these problems. And sometimes what you're going to find is that some areas you're just going to not be able to, so you have to pick your battles, right? There was a Dakshana scholar many years back, I think he was the first or second batch, and he wanted to become an architect. And IITs में architecture का program है. And he was very passionate about wanting to be an architect. And he hated chemistry. No one hated chemistry more than him. Absolutely hated chemistry. And his scores in chemistry were very low. So he knew that he will not be, so he was always complaining कि ये IITs ने chemistry लगाया हुआ है JEE में, मैं architect बन रहा हूँ, मेरा chemistry से क्या लेना देना है? Why you have put that gating factor? So the faculty told him, उस time पे AIEEE था, we didn't have JEE mains and all that. So the faculty told him, they understood chemistry and he are not going to ever do well. So they told him, forget the JEE, forget the IIT JEE, focus on AIEEE. Because AIEEE actually There's a School of Planning and Architecture, which took the IEEE results, which is one of the best architecture programs in India, and there's no chemistry. In the way they take the admissions, there's a separate test for architecture, but उसमें chemistry नहीं है. So he was very happy. So he took that path, he went to SPA, now he's a practicing architect, doing fine. So I think that this is kind of more like a, you are in a battle and you have to have a battle plan. You are not going to be able to solve every question or master every topic. That's not going to happen. It's too wide, too big. So pick your areas where you know you can do well, and then as much as you can do in the other areas, तो आप optimize कर सकते हो. And with the help of your friends, you try and do the best you can. But I would say that do not get depressed, because what you are facing it because you are in a very competitive program with very smart students. And even if you don't go to IIT, it is not the end of the world. एक दरवाज़ा बंद होता है, बाकी का काफ़ी दरवाजे खुलते हैं. So don't worry about the fact that so many Dakshana scholars we know get into IIT and never go, right? They take an NIT because they get the major they want, the field they want. And so I would just say that you try to do your best, try to leverage the resources. And all we can do as humans is be the best version of ourselves. We cannot be the best humans, we can just be the best version of ourselves. And that's all we should try to do. And if you're feeling sad or depressed, then I think you should share that with your mentors, your faculty, your friends. All of them can help you. So hope that helps. Next question.
Mohnish, this is Pawan Kalyan Chipakurti from JNV Adilabad, Telangana. And my question to you is, sir, do you love your profession? And is it right to choose a profession which we do not like and get more money? Thank you.
Okay, please have a seat. It is not right to choose profession based on money. You should be choosing profession based on what you love to do. And if you do what you love, you will do it well. So I think the thing is that one of the difficulties we face as humans is we do not many times know, especially at your age, you don't know what your passion is. Some of you know it. Many of you don't know it, right? But you will start getting some clues. Like, for example, when you are studying for the JEE, some areas are more interesting than other areas, right? There was a student in the other class who has a deep interest in literature. वो तो curriculum में ही नहीं है, right? वो तो शेक्सपियर सीखना चाहते हैं. वो कहते हैं ना, घाले भेना थी हमारी किस्मत. So he cannot today pursue what he wants to pursue. But I think it's very important to keep in mind. We had a scholar, I think the first batch, 2007, in JNV Bundi. The entire 2 years, he sat at the back of the class and he composed Urdu poetry. He was not interested in JEE. He just ignored whatever was going on. And he didn't even know Urdu. He taught himself Urdu so he could write poetry in Urdu. He was so passionate about Urdu poetry. And he was very good. Like, I remember he came to our recognition ceremony and I told him, listen, can you write a poem which is suitable for this gathering, and then can you deliver it? I only gave him 20 minutes notice. So I said, I know it's very short time. He said, no, no, sir, I only need 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, he wrote a poem which was focused on that area. So he was really good. But he did not crack the JEE. अभी या तो आप उर्दू पोइट्री करोगे या JEE क्रैक करोगे, दोनों तो नहीं होने वाले हैं, right? And he felt very bad when the recognition ceremony was going on that he did not get IIT. So he was telling me, I want to try again. So I told him, this is not your interest. Your interest is poetry. I have not seen someone with so much interest. So I said, तुम focus करके देखो poetry का कौन सा अच्छा program है, उसको join करो. Don't do JEE because you are going in an area which you are going to not be happy. So not many of us are like him that we have clarity at the age of 16 or 17 what we want to do. We don't have that clarity. I did not have that clarity. I studied computer engineering only because people said computers are hot. That was the only reason I studied it. I really had no understanding of what computer engineering is when I went into it, right? And then later I switched my field. So I think the important thing in life is that you definitely should not pursue things because they pay more. That's a very bad thing to do. You will have a very unhappy life. You have to try different gloves on and you have to see which glove fits, right? So when you are going through your JEE curriculum, it's going to give you some idea about what area is of interest. When you join IIT or NIT, they have many clubs on campus. Literature club, drama club, debate club, guitar club, rock band club, hundreds of clubs are there. Join some clubs. See how you like it, right? There was a student, Dakshana scholar, Satpal. So Satpal went to IIT Delhi and he said no matter what was happening in IIT Delhi, every day I was on the field, right? He is very passionate about sports, okay? And so he was doing a lot of athletics, a lot of different sports. He loved all that. That's who he was. So he went to IIT, got an engineering degree, but he spent a lot of time on sports. Sports, fitness is very important to him. Then I think last I heard he joined some sports startup. I'm not sure what happened with that. Have you tracked Satpal?
Yeah, he's with Zomato now.
Oh, so वो छोड़ के Zomato में आ गए हैं.
But he still keeps in touch with us.
Yeah, so he's in touch. Zomato is not a bad place to hang out. You can do okay with Zomato. So anyway, what I'm saying is Satpal actually genuinely tried to pursue his interest. And I don't think he cared that his GPA is up or down. For him, the sports was important, right? And so he pursued that. So I think that there was another, I think Jayesh was the name, the guy who went to Coast Guard from before your time. He was at, so there was a kid at, he was in, from Kerala, he went to JNV Bangalore, and he was the ultimate all-round athlete. Like when he played cricket, he could be the wicket keeper, he'll be the best wicket keeper. Batsman, he can be opening batsman. Bowler, he can do spin, he can do fast. Fielding, he's very good. Soccer, he's very good. Hockey, he's very good. Every sport, he was really good. Okay, even in academics, he's pretty good. He joined NDA. He did not go to IIT, which was the right thing for him. And then he joined the Indian Coast Guard. So then they sent him to Goa, and then he went through, I think, 6-month diving training to be a diver. You know, where from the helicopter they go down in the water. He is in 7th heaven because now he is a diving instructor in the US Coast Guard. That guy did exactly what he wanted to do, right? Because he pursued his, and he doesn't make that much money. He's working for armed services, right? So it's not going to pay a lot, but he has a life of adventure, right? So I think it's very important that don't worry about the money. So like for example, people do civil engineering in IIT, okay? Most people who do civil engineering have no interest in civil engineering. वो सिविल इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि कंप्यूटर साइंस नहीं मिला, ओके? तो they didn't get computer science, so whatever they got civil. When they are graduating, Wipro comes to hire them. So they are very happy, or TCS comes to hire them. Okay, I'll go in IT, I'll back to computers, everything good, forget about civil engineering. Civil engineering does not pay as well as IT when you graduate. If you go work as a civil engineer, you'll make less than what TCS will pay you. But if you are a civil engineer with 5 years or 10 years experience, you will make a lot more than the IT professional. Because India, what happens is we graduate all these civil engineers and they all go in IT. There are not enough civil engineers in the country. And what you need in many projects is experienced civil engineers. So experienced civil engineers are very few. So if you're a civil engineer with 5 or 7 years experience, you'll be making 25, 30 lakhs. But initially you'll be making 4 lakhs, right? So what happens is that, what I would suggest is that if you know very clearly the field you want to go into, not because of money, but because you have passion for it, try to get that. Even if you don't get the institute you want, try to go for the field that you're getting and go all in. If you go all in, things will work out. So I cannot imagine working on things that I would not enjoy. That would be a terrible life. One of the worst things. So one of the things that is exciting to me is every day I have many things to do. I choose the things that I like and I work on those things because those I know I will do well and I will have fun, right? And the things that I don't enjoy, I'm either going to find someone else to do them or ignore them and dekhi jayegi. So I think it's very important that you pursue that. So Ben Franklin was actually one of the founding fathers of the US. He was a multi-talented guy. He never went to a good college or anything. But he, for example, figured out and created lightning poles. So lightning in a building will go down the pole. It will not kill anyone. He invented bifocals. He had many inventions, even though he was not a scientist. He was one of the founding fathers. Worked on the Declaration of Independence, worked on the Constitution. I like Ben Franklin a lot because he was very multi-talented. So Ben Franklin has many good quotes. He says that many people die at 25, but they are not buried till 75. What does that mean? What does that quote mean?
Their brains are working.
Their brains are working. So he said that many people die at 25, but they're not buried till 75. It's not that their brains are working. It's that their body is working, but they have shut the brain off. So what he means by that is, like some people, what they do is they get to IIT. इतना रगड़ा होता है IIT पहुंचने तक कि once they get to IIT, just relax, forget everything. So in their case, they have died at 18 and they'll be buried at 75. जनाजा 75 पे निकलेगा, मौत तो 18 पे होगी ना, turn off कर दिया. Or they go to IIT, they work hard, they get a good job, and then they relax. They have turned off the engine at 22. So in their case, they have died at 22, and the janaza will be at 75. Or like Franklin said, many people die at 25 and they are buried at 75. So you do not want to be that person. Do you want to be dead at 25 mentally? No. So how do you not die at 25? So most humans are dead at 25. अगर आप देखोगे ना, look at humans around you, they have already become zombies at 25, given up on life, just going through, you've seen it in your own hometowns. People have given up on life. You do not want to be that way. And how can you not die at 25? The way to not die at 25 is to be excited about what you are doing, right? How can you be excited about what you're doing? Not from money. Just because some job is paying money is not going to excite you. What is going to excite you is if you're truly excited about life. Like Janesh, I think that was his name, Janesh, the guy in Coast Guard, right? Excited about life. Or like, for example, Satpal at IIT Delhi. I don't know Satpal's GPA, but I would bet it's not at the top. Sorry, Satpal. But it's not important to him. That's not what he's focusing on. He's focusing on doing things that he's excited about, right? So the important thing in life is that you have to sample many things when you are young to find what you are excited about, because that is a big part. So what happens with us is that we as humans, we are all different from each other, just like all the fingers are different. And we don't come with an owner's manual, right? When you are born, there's no owner's manual which says Ajay should be a fighter pilot. ऐसे तो कुछ लिखा नहीं है, right? So we have to figure it out. And how do you figure it out? So for example, in my case, I got lucky that when I was 35 years old, so right now I'm 55, but when I was 35 years old, a group of us went through a number of tests which were conducted by two industrial psychologists. And not only did they test us for our aptitude and what we like, they also talked to all the people around us. Like they spoke to my wife, they spoke to, in my company, the people who reported to me, they spoke to my friends. And after doing all of that, they interviewed me and they created what I call my owner's manual. They gave me my owner's manual. What God should have given me at birth, and God was too busy and he forgot to give that. So from the age of 1 to 34, I had no owner's manual. Then age of 35, I get my owner's manual. And they told me when they met me that I was running a large IT firm, about 200 people, and I was actually unhappy. I was unhappy. This is a company I created. I could not even resign. Who do I resign to? So I enjoyed this company when it was growing, when it was very small, but as it became bigger, even though it was doing better, I did not enjoy the job. The job changed. So they told me, we don't even know how you go to work every day. This is complete opposite of what your owner's manual says you should be doing. And at that time, I was just thinking of starting the investment fund, Pabrai funds, and they looked at us and they said, this, what you're trying to do, this investment fund, this is perfect for you. So get rid of the IT company and go focus on investments. So they told me, what they told me is that I like to play math games. Nobody told me this before, but they said I like to play specific type of math games. So the type of math games I like to play have some traits. Number one, I know I can win. So I want to play games where I know I can win. Isn't that cool? You're playing soccer, football. Does the outcome depend on you? No. It depends on the team, right? Cricket depends on the team. So these are team sports. What they told me with my owner's manual, they said, Mohnish, you are not a person who should be on a team. You should be on a person, and the second is, you should not be playing non-mathematical games. You should play math games. And you should only play math games where you know you can win. So when I told them about the investment fund, I was about to start this investment fund, and they understood what I was going to do. They told me, this is perfect. And this was in 1999, right? And now it is 2019. I've been doing this for 20 years. I still love it. In 20 years, I didn't get bored. Okay? The IT company, in 10 years, I wanted to slit my wrist. Okay? Instead of going to work. I said, instead of going to work, let me just slit my wrist. I don't want to ever go to work again. You know? And I'm just kidding. Please don't slit your wrist. It's a figure of speech. Okay? Means not excited about life. So for example, I have the investment fund. I play a game called bridge. Have you guys heard of bridge? Bridge is a beautiful game. When you go to IIT, every IIT has a bridge club. जैसे मूवी क्लब है, डिबेट क्लब है, सिंगिंग क्लब है, वैसे ब्रिज क्लब है. Trust me. Join the bridge club. Okay? Because if you are here, it means you like math. And if you like math, you're going to like bridge. Bridge is an awesome game. I spend about 5 hours per week playing bridge. And I wish I can increase it. Okay? And I've been playing bridge for 30 years. Still not bored. Okay? And number 3, I play blackjack. Blackjack is a casino game, okay, which is not there in India except for Goa. And I win against the casinos, okay, because I figured out the fundas, because it's a math game, okay. So for me, all 3 of these are games. They're all games, right? Till 35, nobody told me you should be playing math games. I just, at the age of 23, some people at work were playing bridge. So I started playing with them. I said, wow, this is a lot of fun. So I started playing bridge even before I got this thing. And so I stumbled onto it. But once I got the owner's manual, and I read the owner's manual every year just to make sure I'm following it. Once I got the owner's manual, everything took off really well, because the owner's manual told me what to do. So you will get some clues about your owner's manual based on what you like to do and what you don't like to do. So for example, if you are playing cricket, or if you're playing soccer, or you're playing hockey, you will like one better than the other, right? In cricket, you like bowling versus batting, one better than the other. In JEE prep, you will like physics better than chemistry, or chemistry better than math. All of those are different for different people. You have to focus on what you enjoy and go for that. Next question.
This is Siddhu Bhukia from JNV Warangal. Mohnish, we were said that you are a successful businessman. Has there been any situation in your entire journey to the success where you have felt I am a failure and I cannot succeed in my life? What was the situation and how did you overcome that?
Okay, very good. We have lots of good alums from JNV Warangal. Do you know Grishma?
Yes.
Is she famous in your school? No? But you know her?
She is famous because she got selected to Dakshana.
Oh, because of that. So see, you know her. Okay. Grishma is now in New York doing her PhD in mathematics. She's also like me, likes to play math games. So more power to Grishma. Anyway, Warangal has produced some good alums for us. And do you know Vinod? Varun. Do you know Varun? Varun T? Yeah? Okay, so you know your seniors. Okay, good. All right, very good. Okay, so, well, I think the failures, there are many, many failures. Let me go through some of my failures so you can understand that failure is important, otherwise we cannot grow. Growth really comes from failure. So, when I was, I think 23, I started a company called Perry Technologies. It failed. Then when I was 35, actually 34, I think. I was 34, no, maybe 35. Yeah, 35. I started a company called Digital Disruptors, and that failed. Then I think in 2012, which would have been about when I was 48, I formed something under Dakshana called Gandhigiri. Did you see the movie Munna Bhai? Lage Raho. So Gandhigiri was based on Munna Bhai. It also failed. This was designed to fight corruption. Then when I was 54 last year, we formed something known as Dakshana 2.0. So far, we have some challenges. We don't know, it may fail, we'll see. But I am not afraid of failure. So we have all these failures, but you only need one success and everything is okay, right? Because it's not symmetrical. Like when Perry Technologies failed, I lost less than $500. Digital Disruptors was big. I lost about 2 million, and then other people lost about $3 million. So this was a big failure. Gandhigiri cost less than $5,000. Dakshana 2.0, it's about 40 lakhs per year. So if we don't get results here, we'll look at whether we want to continue or not. But then if you look at successes, you know, I had a company called TransTech that did really well. It gave me kind of more than 10 million. Then I had Pabrai funds. That was a success. They gave me more than 1,000 crores. Then we had Dakshana. As you can tell, it's a success. So I don't need too many on this side. But the point is that, you know, like I said, that Ben Franklin said, people die at 25 and they're buried at 75, right? If you have problems with burial, you can say, body was burnt at 75, dead at 25. So when they died at 25, it means that after this point, they did nothing, right? That's what it means to be dead at 25. So the thing is that in life, basically these different things I kept trying, it's an asymmetric kind of proposition. Most of them don't cost much money. They take time. but the payoff can be huge if it works, and if it doesn't work, the downside is pretty small. So it can work pretty good. So anytime things don't work, like right now we have challenges with Dakshana 2.0, that's a good thing. Because when we have challenges, that's when we learn. If we don't have challenges, there's no learning. So there's no fun. So we want to keep learning. We want to keep getting better. And so that's an important thing. Was that the last question? So you have a question? Please take the mic.
Sir, in the beginning of our interaction, you have stated that one has to be a continuous learning machine. So I would like you to speak elaborately about it.
About the continuous learning machine? Yes. Yeah, so continuous learning machine is very important. And I'm glad you asked that question. So, abhi to aapka sara time is going in JEE prep. Then when you join IIT, it is going to grow in trying to just handle the workload there, etc. But the thing is that it's very important to be a continuous learning machine. So basically, if I look at something like Dakshana, when I graduated from school, I have no skills or even knowledge of creating or running an NGO, right? I mean, I have no data that is going to help me do that. In fact, most people who form most companies, they don't know much about anything. They just know small things, they go forward, then they learn some more, then they go forward, they learn some more, and they keep going. Initially, when they start, they just don't know a whole lot. The only way you can kind of get to the promised land is by being a continuous learning machine. The easiest way, and I would say the quickest way. So the easiest way to get knowledge into your brain is by reading. Reading is the fastest way to put data in your brain, okay? And especially if you're reading a well-written book, right? For example, on any subject. The author will have spent thousands of hours putting that book together, writing the book. So it may take you 20 hours or 30 hours to read the book, but it has taken somebody 2,000, 3,000 hours to write the book. So if you talk to that person, that is very diluted because it's not organized thought. He'll talk for hundreds of hours for you to understand that. If he gives you your book, you can go much faster. So for me, like for example, I run an investment fund. I never took classes in that area. I never got any degree in that area. I just read some books. And then I liked the subject, so I read some more books. And I kept going. So the thing is, abhi to Amazon hai, Flipkart hai. So when you finish from IIT or even when you're in IIT, books are relatively inexpensive. You know, sometimes I find that, like in the US, you know, sometimes people will say, oh, this book is $20 or $30 is expensive, right? So $20 will be like 1,400 rupees, right? It's not expensive. It costs the author 1.5 years of his time to write the book. If the guy is making 20 lakhs a year, it costs him 30 lakhs of time to write the book. जो आपको 1400 रुपए में मिल रही है, if you buy it at the top price, it costs 30 lakhs to write plus all his brain power, right? So books are the most, they are the cheapest, and actually most books in India you can get very cheap, and you will be making more than 10 lakhs a year when you graduate. So you can spend 5%, 3% a year on books, no problem. And you can keep going. So I think it's very important to look at areas that you are interested in. And between the internet and published books, you can become an expert in anything. Right? The internet has a lot of data on it, and books have a lot of data. So pretty much, you don't need to go to school to get the knowledge. You can get the knowledge directly. So that's why, so continuous learning machine means that you cannot take the approach that, okay, I have a job, I'm doing my job, I come home, I enjoy with my friends, I go to sleep, and I go next day for a job. You live that life, you're dead at 25. Okay? You want to keep improving and bettering yourself, right? So you want to spend evenings, weekends on things that will drive you to the next level and go from there. So hope that helps. So thank you very much. You have a question too? Okay.
When we are discussing about your success and failures, I have noticed that when you have listed out your failures, you have listed it along with the age at which you had that failure. But when you are talking about your success, you didn't mention your age. And comparatively, your successes were just 2, but your failures were 3. The thing which is striking in my mind is that when you had your failures, you were too stressed and too deeply in thoughts of that, so that you have remembered your age at which you have got that failure. Is that so?
No, that's not true. So let me tell you. So the first success, which is TransTech, this was at 25. The second success, which is Pabrai funds, this is at 35. And the third is, let's say, Dakshana. Dakshana is 42. 2000, yeah, 42. So, so they came at different times, but the important thing is not the age. I think the important thing is that what I've come to realize when I look at the failures and the successes, these two engines which created, especially this one that created almost all the wealth I have, the cost of this was less than $1,000. I mean, less than, let's say, 70,000 rupees. It so far made over 1,000 crores. Okay? So if on this column I only have this one, it still works fine because it's asymmetric, right? So we cannot, the thing about success and failure is each one is not a binary event. Each one is not equal to the others, right? So I think failure is like something just bounces off your chest. I don't even think about failure. Like Dakshana 2.0, it's a controlled experiment. Okay, we know how much we are spending. We know we can afford that, no problem. If after a couple of years, 3 years, we are not getting results, we'll turn the switch off. We'll learn lessons, but it doesn't mean we'll not keep trying again. We'll try something else, right? So it's very important. I think there are a couple of things to keep in mind. One is that when you create or think of creating a new organization or a new endeavor, it may be useful sometime to get partners, one person or more than one person to work with you. It's good if the two of you have different skills. But the thing that you cannot have is you cannot have different values. So values have to be the same. Skills, it's better if the skills are different. Okay? But for example, both of you have to have an ethos of hard work. Both of you have to have an ethos of honesty. Both of you have to ethos of customer is right. We'll serve the customer. You know what I'm saying? So the values have to be identical. The skills can be different. So many times recently I was in South Korea, and I have a good friend there. He runs the investment business, and I was talking to him, and he has a partner, and the partner's do not have the same values. So I told him that if that's the situation, you must be very unhappy. He said yes. So then I told him, get rid of it. You don't want to be partners with someone where the values are not the same, because it's going to, every day it's going to bother you. It's like being married to someone that you're fighting with every day. It's not going to work very well. So, but the thing is that he is not able to unentangle. Unentangle means you have to take some pain and suffering, right? Most humans are not willing to take that pain. So I met him a year ago. I told him there's this problem. You have to get rid of the partner. And he was very grateful that I told him that. Then I met him again. I said, what happened? So he looked down and said, nothing happened. Okay. So I said, hello, we agreed. He said, yeah, but too painful. So I said, when are you going to do it? He said, I don't know. So it's not easy after you start going down a path with someone to get rid of them. That's very hard. Especially in his case, the business is intertwined. It's very complicated to, I mean, I can see his point. But the thing is that when I look to do things with someone, if I'm going to do things with someone, I have to make sure the values align. Values are very important, and they have to be completely in sync. And if they don't, then you have a problem, you know. So, like, his partner is more interested to maximize the money they make. He's more interested that they run the business the right way. That's a fundamental divergence of values, you know, and that is the problem, because then you're trying to pull the train in two different directions. So anyway, it was a lot of fun spending time with you. Thank you very much.